Hi everybody, and welcome to another astrology update. My name is McClunan and I'm a counseling astrologer and an expressive arts facilitator. And I bring you these updates to just help you to navigate the energy that's around us, because we're energetic beings and we feel the energy and we influence the energy as well. So it's really nice to understand it so we can navigate it more effectively. We have a number of themes this month, which is why I'm actually bringing this on video, because it's quite complex energy and it might be easier for me to explain on a video rather than in a written blog. So we have a new moon coming up on the 9th of October and it's in Libra, and the next full moon after that is in Taurus. So both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. So Venus rules 2 signs of the zodiac. So that makes this a very Venusian month, but there's lots of sub-themes going on as well. So the 9th of October is new moon in Libra, which is all about finding balance and peace and harmony and working on our relationships and cooperating and smoothing things over, keeping the peace, trying to find out where our lives are imbalanced, out of balance, bring more balance to them, initiating some social contact, some fun, some time out, some beauty, art, time in nature, anything that makes us actually feel more beautiful and more harmonious and more peaceful. So if you imagine the song Imagine by John Lennon, he was a Libran. Imagine a world without barriers and borders and wars. That's very Libran. It really wants peace, balance and harmony. Now the rub comes with the leader or the ruler of this new moon in Libra is Venus, because she rules Libra. And Venus is in Scorpio right now and she's about to go retrograde. So on the 6th of October she goes retrograde for a period of 40 days, and she only does this once every 1.5 years. So it's quite unusual. And it's quite profound when it does happen, because she disappears from the sky, and the ancients used to not understand what had happened to her, and then she appears. So she changes from being a morning star to an evening star and back again. Quite complex, her cycle. But basically she disappears from the evening sky for a period, and then she conjuncts, or she comes to a close connection, sort of same degree as the sun, midway through her retrograde period. And that is almost like Venus rising. So that's when we find more clarity, when we get in touch with what's truly valuable to us. And I see it almost like a heart-opening opportunity. So that's all coming up. But in her retrograde period, being in Scorpio, it's very, very different to the other energy that's around, because Libra is all about peace and harmony and balance and pleasing, and Scorpio is the opposite. Scorpio says go underneath the surface, find out what's there, bring it up to the surface, lay it out, look at it, take out what you need, get rid of the rest. Scorpio is the process of death, rebirth, regeneration. So at this time of the year, as we start to enter or move towards the sun moving through Scorpio, we've actually got Venus leading the way. She's joining Jupiter, who's still in Scorpio for a little bit longer, not much longer. And so it's very much about the feminine, not just for women, for men as well, the feminine rising. What is your feminine values? What do you love? What do you value now? How is it different from 1.5 years ago? And more importantly, how is it different to what it was 8 years ago? Because that was the last time Venus was in Scorpio retrograde. So it's that cycle. So if you have a look at your chart, if you have a chart, if you don't have a chart, then you can have a chart done, or you can generate one online, but it's quite nice to understand it. So wherever Venus is moving through your chart will actually be, that similar theme will be coming up for you. So for example, it is quite a nice example. Venus in my chart 8 years ago moved through the house which is a segment of the chart, which relates to groups, friends, group activities. For example, that's one way of looking at it. And it was basically at that time when Venus was retrograde that I very first started Art and Soul, my workshops, which is quite interesting because it was very much about art, and Venus is the planet of art and beauty, and understanding your values and understanding what's important to you through art. So that was really important. And so now that is basically, it's that cycle that I'm revisiting again. So I'm looking at it and saying, okay, what needs to change? What needs to deepen? How do I need to deepen? How have I changed? What are my values like now compared to what they were then? What can I teach now that I couldn't teach then? What do I need to let go of? So it's very much the process of the chrysalis, the metamorphosis. Scorpio is always connected with that, what needs to die in order to be reborn. And when that little caterpillar goes into a cocoon, he basically disappears. And the caterpillar that he knew as a caterpillar is no longer there. A lot of us don't know that he doesn't just develop wings and fly out as a butterfly. He actually disappears completely. So he disintegrates. So how does that relate to you? What needs to completely end so that something else can be reborn? This is a very strong theme, and it's got to do with our femininity, it's got to do with our relationships, it's got to do with our value systems. So what is valuable to you now? What are your values now? Have they changed? If your relationship is going through a difficult time, or if you keep on getting to the same place in your relationships, whether it be with a life partner or with friend or groups of friends, if you keep on getting the same feedback from people, then this is the time to look at it. Really, honestly, authentically. That's what Scorpio is about. Scorpio will shine the light on exactly what needs to be looked at and tell you what needs to be done, which is why some people are a bit scared of Scorpio. It's the catalyst for change, for deep transformation. But to do that, sometimes we've got to go into the difficult stuff. So sometimes we've got to go into the sticky, stuck stuff to find out what's actually going on, or the difficult, maybe darker stuff that we might ignore. Whenever there's energy, in Scorpionic energy, it's a call to actually go deeper and to see what's there so that it can be transformed. And I think this has got to do with heart opening, with really getting in touch with what does your heart really want now. What are your relationships lacking? What do they need to bring more in? What more needs to be brought in? Your relationship with your house, your relationship with your partners, your relationship with your pets, the relationship with your body, your own body, your looks, how well you're coping with aging or not, how you act, your self-worth is connected with this as well. So it's a really big one, and it's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out, because there's a lot of other themes as well. I'll chat to you again in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll talk about the full moon, which is going to be in Taurus opposite the Sun in Scorpio. So that'll be kind of a continuation of this theme, but I really wanted to get this across to you, because you can take advantage of the retrograde cycle of Venus to actually really kind of maybe fall in love again, maybe fall in love with yourself. If you haven't been loving life, maybe fall in love with beauty again. Maybe take time out to really look at a rose, or look at an animal, look at a beautiful plant and the exquisiteness of that. Take time out to visit a gallery and really look at the art. Take time out to connect with your senses, have a bubble bath, play some music, dance. That's what this month's about. And it'll help us navigate if there is tricky energy, which there could be. I think it'll help us to navigate that. I have a workshop coming up, in fact 2 workshops, just after the conjunction, where the Sun actually conjuncts Venus, which is when Venus is closer to us than at any other time, so she's more powerful. that weekend after the 26th, the 27th and 28th, I'm going to run the same workshop on 2 different days, so I have enough space for people that want to do it, because it's quite a potent time, and it's a time to really get in touch with what needs to change and what needs to be reborn. And we're going to do that using the metaphor or the symbolism of the butterfly, or the moth if you like, coming out of the cocoon. So it's a beautiful one to do artistically. So please have a look at my website, solarpower.com with a hyphen. And I'm going to be holding the workshops at Rest and Digest in Gillets, which is an absolutely beautiful venue. It's just full of life and colour and nature. It's gorgeous. So it's a really good one for self-valuing. And obviously I'm available for astrology readings should you want to explore this more deeply. If you've never really explored Venus in your chart, this is the time. Venus Revisited. And it's not just for girls, it's for guys too. So guys, it's time to get in touch with your Venus as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.